Have you ever gone somewhere you weren't supposed to be and found something that changed your life forever? Tonight, we dive into the eerie true tale of an urban explorer who stumbled upon a mysterious object inside a forgotten building, and what followed still haunts him to this day. If you enjoy creepy stories, mysteries from the shadows, and chilling discoveries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss what hides in the dark. I'm an urban explorer, and I think I found something that was never meant to be seen. Hi everyone! I've been exploring abandoned places for years now, empty factories, crumbling hospitals, forgotten schools, you name it. But nothing, and I mean nothing, has ever left me as shaken as what happened last week. I live in a smaller city with a history of industrial decline. About 5 miles out from town lies an old rail maintenance depot, closed officially 5 years ago but pretty much untouched for decades. The kind of place the city pretends doesn't exist. I'd never paid it much attention until I saw a local article. A child, missing for nearly 3 weeks, had been found in one of the offices there, alive but unresponsive. The demolition notice was posted 2 days later. That's when I knew I had to go. They were erasing this place. I wanted to see what they were erasing. I packed my gear like always: headlamps, gloves, respirator, multipurpose tool, and my camera. By 8:30 p.m., I was scaling the rusted front gate under the cover of twilight. The main workshop was massive and barren, completely empty. Not even stray paperwork or forgotten tools. Just dust and silence. Felt scrubbed. Like someone had cleaned it out on purpose. Even the graffiti kids tend to leave behind was missing. The second building looked more promising, an old parts warehouse. Shelves upon shelves of nothing. Every surface was coated in an even layer of dust, undisturbed. That's when the unease started to crawl in. I'd never been in an abandoned place this sterile. I moved to the third and final building. 3 floors. Windows dark, except one. The 6th window from the left on the top floor glowed faintly, like there was a low lamp inside. I circled around, expecting to find some motion sensor light or maybe a prank left behind by other explorers. But no! The light stayed. Cold and constant. The front door was bolted, but a rusted service entrance hung slightly open. I stepped inside and immediately felt the difference. The darkness was thick, like fog you couldn't breathe through. My flashlight, strong enough to blind someone up close, barely illuminated more than a few feet ahead. I wedged the door open with a rock and kept going, sticking close to the walls and following signs that led up toward the offices. Every room was the same: old desks, decayed files, dust thick enough to choke. But no signs of people. No footprints. No rats. When I finally reached the top floor, I counted the doors carefully, looking for the one with the lit window. I found it. Room 306. It was pitch black. No light, no furniture, and oddly colder than the hallway. Before leaving, I shined my beam around and noticed something scratched into the wall near the door. IT is done. No graffiti. Not carved with a knife or marker. Scratched in deep with something strong. A nameplate on the door read P. Browse. A chill went down my spine. I decided to check one last place, a basement I'd seen mentioned on a dusty bulletin board in the cafeteria. The note had been on clean paper. Rats in the basement again, but the sheet looked new. Untouched by time. Someone had been here recently. I followed the signage down to a boiler room. Pipes stretched like veins across the walls, old boilers humming with dead silence. But then I found a narrow hallway I hadn't noticed before. The end was a metal room, and for the first time all night, my flashlight worked perfectly. Inside was a steel table covered in decades of dust, except for a clear space recently disturbed. On the table sat 2 objects. A small cube, metallic, featureless except for holes on each face: triangle, circle, square. A leather-bound journal, no title, just age-stained pages. The cube seemed to glow. Not brightly, but with an internal light, pulsing slowly. My instincts told me not to touch it, but I did. And I took it with me. The walk back was different. The darkness no longer pressed in. Everything was just normal dark. Still, I didn't breathe easy until I was back in my car. Not everything abandoned is forgotten. Some places were left behind on purpose, sealed away like a warning in plain sight. And sometimes when we go looking for answers in the dark, what we find doesn't just look back, it follows us home. Story 2: The Showers. I've always loved exploring abandoned places. Old schools, factories, anything that had been left to rot and collect history in silence. But there's one place, just one, that I don't think I'll ever step into again. It was my 5th visit to a decaying hospital, located far from the city, tucked into a stretch of native land no one patrolled and few dared to disturb. The structure was massive, part mental hospital, part rehab facility, part prison depending on who you asked. Time had peeled away its outer skin, but inside it still felt preserved, like it was waiting for something. This time I wasn't alone. My younger brother had brought along 4 of his friends, all of whom had explored the place before. We were comfortable by then, moving confidently through the graffiti-marked lobby, stepping over fallen ceiling tiles and broken glass like it was just another walk in the woods. First floor was familiar. Dusty, sure, but harmless. But the moment we hit the 2nd floor, everything changed. The air shifted, thick, sticky, almost like walking through invisible syrup. It wasn't just humid. Smelled. Like something rotting, something wrong. We all paused. Not one of us had felt this on any previous visit. Someone muttered that it felt like the air itself was pressing down on them. Another joked it smelled like wet death. We split into groups of 2. I went with my brother. Each team took a hallway, cautiously. I'm not sure if it was fear or instinct, but our adrenaline spiked. Doors creaked louder than they should have. Our flashlights seemed dimmer than normal. And then we found the showers. The room had once been a communal shower area, maybe for patients or inmates, tiled from floor to ceiling with those beige, sterile squares you find in institutions. We'd passed by this room before. It was always empty. Nothing special. But this time, every single drain, at least a dozen, had a bird shoved headfirst into it. Dead birds. Some fully decayed to bone. Others still fresh, their feathers slick with rot, ants weaving in and out of their eye sockets. Each drain had a perfect black circle painted around it. Not smeared graffiti, no, it was clean, intentional. Like a ritual had taken place. Like someone had prepared this. My brother gagged. One of the others whispered, "What the hell is this?" But no one answered. We didn't stay to investigate. We backed out of that room fast, and that was the end of the exploration for that night. All 6 of us left without another word spoken. About 4 months later, a couple of the guys went back. The black paint was still there. The birds gone. No new ones, thankfully. But no explanation either. Sometimes we explore places hoping to find history. But what we discover is something darker, something recent, something ongoing. Past doesn't always stay in the past, especially when someone or something is still feeding it. And if that hospital was abandoned, then who brought the birds? Story 3: The Pipe That Ate the Light. Urban exploration has a strange way of numbing you. After a while, the decaying walls, the broken windows, the silence of long-forgotten places, it all starts to blend together. You stop flinching at creaking floors and bats in stairwells. But every explorer has that one experience. The one that makes your skin crawl months, even years, later. Mine happened in Kansas City. I was with a friend, not just any friend. He was one of those elite explorers, the kind who never posts locations, who's been invited to secret urbex forums you only hear about in whispers. He had explored hundreds, maybe thousands of tunnels, bunkers, drains, even missile silos. If he got spooked, you paid attention. That night, we decided to explore a known tunnel system beneath the city. Not the kind you find in tourist maps, but something older. It was supposed to be a network of storm drains and access pipes, long out of use. We had done plenty like it before. First, it felt routine. Climb down the access hole. Follow the path. Stay quiet. Be respectful. We were maybe a mile underground when we found the pipe. Branched off at a strange angle, not marked on our maps or in any reports. Perfectly round. Maybe 6 feet in diameter. But what made it strange wasn't how it looked, it was how it felt. The air coming from it was colder. Heavier. Not just cold like underground air usually is, it was wrong. It smelled sterile, dry, and quiet. Completely quiet. We turned our headlamps toward the entrance of the pipe, and that's when everything changed. You know how your light travels in a beam, reflecting off dust or mist? This time, it didn't. The light just disappeared, like it was being swallowed by the darkness. There was no fog, no dust, no humidity, just blackness that ate the light like ink on a page. We tried other lights, our backups, our phones. Same result. The first few feet lit up like normal, but after that, nothing. Just void. We both paused. We've gone through decaying asylums with blood-stained floors, old morgues, train tunnels with collapsed ceilings. Nothing had ever made him hesitate. But this time he did. He whispered, "Something's wrong. That's not just darkness." And then we heard it. A sound from deep inside the pipe. Not footsteps. Not water. Not rats. A low, humming vibration. Like metal grinding. But distant. Distorted. As if it wasn't coming from the pipe, but through it. As if it were a speaker playing something it didn't fully understand. We both backed away in sync, no words, no bravado. The pipe didn't need to scream at us to leave. It just stood there, waiting, humming, devouring the light. We laughed nervously as we climbed back out, calling it a portal to hell. But the laughter was hollow, forced, like we were trying to chase off something we couldn't quite name. And for the first time in all our years of exploring, neither of us even thought about going back. Not all danger announces itself with noise or movement. Sometimes it's the silence. The way your instincts scream when logic tells you nothing's there. Explorers pride themselves on curiosity, but occasionally, just occasionally, fear is the smartest guide in the room. Thanks for watching. If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future explorations into the unknown. Got a creepy story of your own or a location you think we should explore next? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious but tread carefully.